There are nights when the ground loses its claim on you. Suddenly, you rise, weightless, the wind beneath you whispering secrets that ordinary steps could never reach. Flying in dreams is not just an image of the mind. It is a language of the spirit. Many wake unsettled after such encounters, wondering if it was freedom or danger, blessing or deception. And perhaps you too have felt that tension, waking with the memory of skies that seemed both beautiful and strange. If so, you are not isolated in this experience. Others have seen it, wrestled with it, and searched for meaning just as you are doing now. That is why we pause here together, because hidden within these dreams are messages that shape destinies, warnings that save lives, and invitations that few recognize. You don't need to feel lost in interpretation. What you saw has a pattern, and those patterns can be understood. Stay with me as we explore this mystery, because by the time you reach the end, you will not only recognize why the sky called you in your sleep, but also know what that call demands of you in waking life. Let's begin. The moment the body lifts from the earth in the quiet theater of the night, something deeper than imagination is speaking. It is not the random flight of mind, nor a simple trick of memory, but often a doorway into a realm where spiritual realities unveil themselves clothed in symbols. To soar above the ground in a dream can stir both awe and confusion. And the one who experiences it often wakes with questions burning inside. Was this freedom, or was this fear? Was it God drawing me higher, or was it a battle I could not see with my eyes? This is where the understanding of flying in dreams must be approached with reverence, not haste, because every detail, every sensation, every emotion carried within the dream holds a layer of meaning that can shift the course of a life if rightly discerned. Imagine standing on the ground and suddenly feeling weightless, the pull of gravity loosening its grip, the heart rising with the body, and the air opening as though the very heavens invite you upward. The exhilaration of flight often mirrors the hidden cries of the soul for release, the yearning to escape limits, the hunger for realms untouched by earthly burdens. Yet at the same time, those wings of the night may be carrying you not only into symbolic liberty, but also into the arena of battle. For the enemy too seeks to counterfeit what God designs. And in the air, he often manifests his subtle strategies. To discern flying dreams is therefore to step into a field where victory and danger both appear, where the sky itself becomes a battlefield of messages. The first layer of meaning that often unfolds in flying dreams is the cry of the spirit for freedom and escape. Life on earth can press heavily, obligations tighten around the chest, and battles unseen may suffocate hope. In the stillness of sleep, the subconscious and the spirit join hands to declare what the lips could not articulate in the waking day. I need release. The act of flying becomes the secret rehearsal of liberation, a portrayal of what the heart longs for to be unbound, to be lifted, to rise above what drags down. Picture a young man struggling under family expectations, debts tightening like chains, and in his dreams, he finds himself running across a plain until his feet no longer touch the ground. He ascends higher and higher, wind rushing past his ears, the ground shrinking beneath him. Waking, he feels light for a moment, only to remember the heaviness of his real struggles. The dream was not an accident. It was his soul staging a scene of deliverance, and spiritually, it may have been God whispering that his hand is ready to lift him out, if only he would seek him. Flying in this sense is not just escape, but prophecy, pointing to the possibility that what weighs a person down has a divine answer. But freedom alone is not the only voice in these dreams. Sometimes the flight is more than escape. It is elevation into spiritual growth. To fly upward can be God's sign that He is drawing you into deeper places of prayer, revelation, and understanding. Just as the eagle mounts above storms and sees farther than other birds, the dreamer who flies may be receiving a spiritual call to rise higher than the noise of earthly struggles. Think of a woman who, in her waking life, has begun to hunger for God more than ever before. She sets aside quiet hours. She opens her Bible not just for reading but for hearing. She whispers prayers that stretches into midnight. Then one night she dreams she is soaring above mountains, clear skies all around, peace covering her as though wrapped in a cloak. That dream is not random. It mirrors her spiritual climb, showing her that she is no longer walking among the ordinary, but being ushered into a place where she can see things hidden to those on the ground. Such dreams are encouragement, confirming that the pursuit of God never goes unseen, and the one who seeks Him is often shown, even in the dream state, that heaven is drawing them nearer. Still, not every flying dream flows with ease. Sometimes the dreamer struggles to steer, flapping arms or wings but swaying, unsure of direction, fearing a fall. These are dreams that expose the battles of control in waking life. A man may desire to take charge of his destiny, but finds doors closing, relationships breaking, opportunities slipping. In the dream, he takes off, but the flight is shaky, unbalanced, and his heart pounds in fear. Spiritually, such imagery shows that he is trying to navigate life without full surrender to God, attempting to fly on human strength rather than divine wind. Control becomes the theme, and the lack of it within the dream mirrors the lack of it in waking struggles. God often allows such visions to reveal the futility of self-dependence, calling the dreamer to lean not on personal will, but on His Spirit, which alone can carry without faltering. Another vivid message hidden in flying dreams is the image of victory over enemies. To be lifted high above people, animals, or forces chasing you is not merely escape, it is triumph. It speaks of the believer being set in a place untouchable by curses or attacks, a declaration that no matter what pursues, the Spirit of God has given superiority. Imagine a person being chased by a crowd in a dream, fear rising, but suddenly their body lifts and the crowd diminishes below, powerless to reach. That moment is prophetic, a vision of spiritual authority at work, telling the dreamer that while enemies gather, their reach will fail. Such dreams are to be taken as encouragement that God's covenant of protection is alive, that the dreamer is not left vulnerable, but has been elevated beyond the touch of the adversary. In many testimonies, those who have dreamt of flying high above attackers later find themselves experiencing deliverance in real life from situations that seemed impossible. The dream served as the sign before the manifestation. Yet flying does not always mean safety. Sometimes it means fleeing. Dreams where one flies frantically, desperate to escape, reveal ongoing battles of witchcraft or oppression. The spirit within is fighting to survive, to evade traps set in hidden places. The flight is not calm but panicked. The sky not peaceful but filled with shadows. These dreams often carry the warning that something unseen is pursuing in real life, and prayer is needed to uncover and defeat it. A teenager, for example, may constantly dream of flying away from monstrous figures or shadowy creatures, waking in sweat and dread. While to the untrained mind it may seem like simple nightmares, spiritually it is a battle cry, showing that forces have risen against him, but his spirit refuses to be captured. Such dreams should not be ignored, but prayed over, for they expose the reality of spiritual warfare pressing on the dreamer's life. Sometimes, however, the danger lies not outside, but within. A person flying with an inflated sense of superiority, looking down on others, mocking from the sky, may be seeing a mirror of pride. Dreams are not only encouragements, but also warnings. And the act of flying in arrogance is a revelation of the heart's danger. Spiritually, it signals that pride may be creeping in, making the dreamer feel above correction, untouchable by others, and secure in self. Such dreams must be heeded with humility, for God resists the proud, but lifts the humble. If ignored, the dream can turn into prophecy of downfall, for the one who flies too high in arrogance without God's covering will eventually crash. Flying dreams can also reveal a prophetic call, especially when the flight carries the dreamer into unusual realms, over oceans, into clouds, across lands unknown. This often signals that the dreamer is being invited into a ministry of intercession, vision, or prophetic insight, being shown that their prayers and discernment are meant to stretch beyond their own environment. A young woman, for instance, may find herself flying across nations in her sleep, seeing cities and people she has never known. Later, she discovers that her prayers often align with global issues, that her intercession touches people far beyond her reach. The dream was the revelation before the assignment, God's way of showing that she was being called to rise above local boundaries and see with heavenly sight. Such flights are not accidents. They are commissions, divine summons that awaken the chosen to their larger spiritual role. Flying in dreams, then, is never empty of meaning. Every ascent, every struggle, every height or fall is a message to the spirit. To understand them is to read the handwriting of the night with discernment, knowing that God, the enemy, and the soul itself can all inscribe meaning into the skies of our rest. The key lies in observation, in humility, and in prayerful interpretation. For without these, one may either dismiss what is crucial or misread what is intended. Flying dreams often return like echoes, repeating themselves until the dreamer can no longer ignore their weight. They arrive not as accidents, but as consistent whispers from the spiritual realm, urging attention. Section 1 revealed the freedom, elevation, warnings, and prophetic invitations contained in such dreams. Now we step deeper into their layers, because the sky of the dream is not only a stage for freedom, but also a mirror of the unseen battles shaping destiny. And for many, it is not just a scene, but a call to decision. Will you rise with the wings of the Spirit, or will you drift under currents you do not understand? There are moments when flying in dreams signals an urgent alert that unseen warfare is active in your life. Not all flights are peaceful. Some are frantic, filled with a desperate attempt to escape forces below. The one flying may not even know what pursues them, only that danger is near. Spiritually, this represents oppression or witchcraft at work, where the dreamer's spirit is forced into defense. But take note, even in these fearful flights, there is hope. The very act of rising shows that the enemy's chains could not hold you completely. Though attack was present, your spirit refused to be grounded. It fought, it resisted, it found a way of escape. This is why such dreams should never be dismissed as nightmares alone. They are coded warnings, showing the presence of a fight, but also revealing the resilience of the dreamer's soul. The correct response is not fear, but prayer, discerning the root of the attack and claiming authority in Christ, who makes us seated in heavenly places above all powers and dominions. Yet flying dreams also serve as reflections of personal desire and hidden emotion. Some find themselves flying with joy, soaring effortlessly, hearts alive with wonder. These dreams often rise when the dreamer longs for release. In waking life, release from stress, obligations, or heavy situations. The subconscious and spirit join together to stage this rehearsal of freedom. In such cases, the flight is not about danger, but about desire, a portrayal of the inner cry for space and peace. Spiritually, it is also God's gentle reminder that He alone gives true rest. The one who flies with joy in dreams may be experiencing a shadow of what the spirit longs to bring, a higher dimension of rest, a freedom of soul that transcends the turmoil of the day. But flying does not always occur alone. Sometimes the dreamer notices others flying as well. These scenes hold distinct messages. To fly with others may represent a shared journey. Perhaps you and those people are bound by destiny, walking similar spiritual paths. It may also signify corporate victory, where God is lifting not just one individual, but a community or family. However, it may also carry warning. If the others flying are faceless or strange, it may signal counterfeit powers at work, demonic entities masquerading as light. Discernment becomes essential. Not every companion in the air is sent by God. Sometimes the dream shows the dreamer that false associations are trying to pull them into spiritual currents that lead away from divine purpose. In such cases, the dream is a wake-up call. Evaluate your company, for not all who fly with you are meant to be part of your destiny. Another element that often shapes meaning is the altitude of the flight. Low-flying dreams, where one hovers just above the ground, indicate partial breakthrough, but not full elevation. It shows progress, yet also lingering attachments. Spiritually, this can point to areas where the dreamer has begun to grow, but still clings to certain weights. High flights, on the other hand, signify strong spiritual ascent, clarity of vision, and victory over limitations. Yet extreme altitude may also reveal risk that the dreamer is entering realms they are not yet prepared for. If one flies too high with fear or instability, it may be a sign of overstepping boundaries without the proper foundation in God. Thus, the height of the flight is as important as the act itself, for it describes the measure of spiritual maturity and readiness. Flying dreams may also reveal destiny callings. Some are taken across oceans, deserts, or mountains in their sleep, experiencing a vastness beyond their natural environment. Such visions are prophetic assignments, hinting that the dreamer's prayers or influence will stretch to regions they have not physically touched. God often shows intercessors their field of operation through such dreams, revealing nations, people, or causes that they are called to stand for in prayer. To fly across lands in a dream is to be told that your impact will reach beyond your borders, that heaven is enlarging your territory. This is not imagination. It is invitation. The dreamer is being shown the path of their calling, and the response should be readiness to carry the burden God places on their spirit. But if flying is a sign of divine calling, it is also a playground for counterfeit powers. The enemy, too, uses flight in dreams to bind people into occult practices. Some individuals are initiated into witchcraft through repetitive flying dreams where they feel both power and secrecy. They may find themselves flying at night, hiding from others, or being led by strange guides. Such dreams reveal that dark powers are attempting to claim the dreamer for their purposes. Spiritually, this is not harmless. It is manipulation, disguised as empowerment. For the believer, such dreams must be resisted with prayer and fasting, for God never calls his children into secrecy and darkness, but into light and truth. Discernment here is critical, for not all flying dreams carry divine intent. There is also the matter of direction. Flying upward signals growth, but flying downward often signals fall. To see oneself plummeting from the sky or struggling to maintain height is a sign of instability, a warning of pride or impending failure. Just as Lucifer fell from heaven because of arrogance, dreams of falling after flight may signal that the dreamer is in danger of losing position due to pride, disobedience, or spiritual negligence. These dreams are merciful warnings, urging repentance and humility before the fall manifests in waking life. The wise do not ignore such visions, for they are grace disguised as fear, a chance to turn before collapse. Consider also the landscape seen while flying. If the dreamer sees clear skies, green fields, or peaceful waters, it signals hope, progress, and life. But if the skies are stormy, the winds harsh, or the landscape dark, it signals turbulence, trials, or hidden dangers. The dreamer must interpret not only the act of flying, but the scenery it unfolds within. Dreams speak in detail, and each element builds the message. A flight over a storm may be God showing that trials are coming, but that He is giving the grace to rise above them. A flight into a cloud of darkness may be a warning to avoid certain decisions or associations. Nothing in the dream is empty. Every image is a word waiting to be read. And then there are the rare dreams where one flies into light, radiant, warm, embracing. These are among the most profound, often signaling divine encounter. The dreamer in such cases is being drawn into God's presence, shown that their soul is being carried into a place of intimacy. Such dreams are gifts, tokens of love from heaven, affirming the dreamer's path and confirming their relationship with God. Waking from such flights often leaves the heart full of peace and joy, a sense that the dream was more than a dream, that the soul truly touched something eternal. Flying dreams, therefore, weave together warnings, encouragements, callings, and revelations. They are not to be dismissed nor taken lightly. They show the spiritual altitude of a life, the battles being fought, and the victories being promised. They expose pride, affirm freedom, reveal destiny, and uncover attacks. And above all, they remind us that our place is not chained to the earth, seated with Christ in heavenly realms. To dream of flight is to glimpse the reality that you were created for more than dust, that the spirit within you was always designed to soar. And now, as we bring this journey to a close, let this reflection sink deeply. When you fly in your dreams, heaven is speaking, your spirit is responding, and your destiny is calling. Pay attention, discern well, and align yourself with God, for only then will the skies of your sleep translate into the victories of your waking life. So as we end, I invite you stay connected. If this teaching opened your eyes, share it so others can understand their own dreams. Subscribe and journey with us, because together we will keep unveiling mysteries that set the soul free. And never forget, you are not bound to the ground. You were made to rise.